Hello, everybody, and happy Tuesday, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. We have our, I'd say, a normal amount of still images to go through. But for starters, we're gonna take a look at Diana's animation update to this scene. So Diana, as it's playing, you want to tell us about some of the things that are updated from this version?
Yeah, just a little more light right there. And then I figured out why the glass was so noisy. So I changed some things.
What was it? Because it looks great now.
Well, yeah, it was. Yeah, so because it was such a process getting to this point. So there was some like light linking, which I don't usually do. So it was mostly lit by like indirect light, which was why it was so noisy. And also the render time on that was like 20 seconds. And this is like 3 minutes, so it's good.
Oh, that's not bad at all. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Right now, yeah, it's small.
That's great. So one of the things. So there are a couple. I mean, obviously there are a couple things that I really like about this. A couple subtle ones is I like the like subtle difference you put between these two lights back here. I was just noticing that, and I think that looks great. I think that the Ruby's looking good. Did you try doing like an off-camera moving reflection thing?
No, I didn't. I couldn't. I wasn't sure. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, basically it would just be like what I would do, and like I said, I don't know if this is going to. It might look really dumb, but what I would do is I would take a plane, just like a square, put it back behind the camera, start it off on the screen right side, and just kind of like slowly rotate it around. I would maybe, and then put like some sort of like either matte. You can play with the color. In my head, it's just matte white, so that I can get the true reflections of this, and that would be more beautiful. But just like slowly move it along, because what I want to do is I want to like, even though I want to see if this works, and maybe render it as a separate pass so you can dial it in. But I like the idea of it just being like slowly picking up the facets of the face of the Ruby a little bit. You know, it's like bing, 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 because it's just because this guy itself is so static for a good chunk of this. And it really comes alive when she comes close to it, and we can see that stuff, right? And so by getting a little bit more of that in, and it's just like, yeah, it really wouldn't feel like movement as much as just like almost like a dancing of that shimmer.
Yeah, that made sense. But then I thought I was like trying to put lights there, and it just wasn't working. But yeah, okay, I will try.
It's much. Don't do it as lights. Do it as a car. Do it as a plane with a mat on it, because that'll pick up more, more from that. And then the other thing I was thinking. I was looking at this because I was just looking at the timing on the rack focus. So I think the timing actually gives away the gag a little bit, because it focuses in before she pops up. And I'm wondering if it would be better if like she was back there, our focus is back there, we're still looking back there, we're still out of focus, and then like it's still out of focus through like these, like the first handful of frames, 8 frames or something, and then it snaps in a little bit closer. Like it's almost like it catches the camera operator off guard. So, because by doing it a few frames before, it's like like we're already anticipating it.
Yeah.
So, and I think the timing of it, the duration of it, could be tightened up a little bit. It feels like it's because it's just like a different thing we're doing now. But as it's closer, it's like boop, and it just quickly moves over to her. But I think the lighting on her looks great. She's a little bit cooler back there, and she's a little warmer in the foreground, which is fine. I think that kind of speaks to the different types of light in the space. And everything else looking good. Does anybody else want to have any comments or any thoughts on this?
Actually, I was thinking it could be cool to have the Ruby's reflection in her eyes.
Yeah. That's a great suggestion. It's just this. I feel like I'm kind of running out of steam on this, because there's like multiple things that I think would be cool. And somebody else also suggested that as well, but then I just couldn't get it. And then it's like,
Yeah. So,
but
so you
I
can
had a new idea. Yeah, go on.
No, I was gonna say. So I'm awful about talking about things early that I shouldn't be. But I'm talking to a friend this afternoon because there's a way of compositing eye dings and eye reflections that would make life a lot easier that I've used in the past. And I'm talking to someone this afternoon about like writing a tool for us that would basically be like a nuke macro that would allow you to create and place reflections and eye dings a little more easily. So yeah, it's an idea that it's something that I think could work, but because what I would do, and that's the thing is like I'm not 100% sure how I would do this, but it's like running an XY map on the eye geometry, and then bringing in like an image of the Rubi as an image plane in Nuke, and then and then doing it like it's kind of like a 2D 3D projection on the eye, and that way we could like place it exactly where we wanted, and it wouldn't be a matter of like balancing, like actually having it look right. So
I was just thinking I would put an extra Ruby closer to her in the render.
I mean, you could do that. Like that's I mean that's if
I can't conflict that,
Yeah.
but that was the idea I had when I saw Tristan's comment.
Yeah, I think it's a good comment, and I think that try that too. Just like put one real close and just turn off the primary visibility on it and see what happens. Yeah, but this is looking great overall, and I don't want you to. I know it's like finishing shots is so hard because you run out of steam, and it's the less fun part of it because it's a little bit more tedious and.
Yeah, and so the glass looks okay.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I think it looks good. I think like it reads this glass. It's got the reflections on the side. There could be. I mean, if you really wanted to, there could be a little more reflection up there. Mm-hmm. But I like that we're clear here, and we can just see the read of the diamond is good. So I think you're all good there.
Okay. Yeah. Mainly, it was just. I feel like it's not. But yeah.
You're too in it, man. It's fine. It's like you know what I mean. Like
obsessed, but yes.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're staring at this thing for long periods of time, and then if you're anything like me, you hate it. and then it's like you go through this emotional roller coaster of it, and then you once you'll finish it, you'll step away from 2 weeks, and then you'll look at it again one day and be like, oh, that looks pretty good. Like
I hope so. That sounds good.
Yeah, you'll get there. It's okay. All right, let's hop over into some of the stills. So we'll start with Aaron's. This is the previous version, updated. This looks so cool. I think this looks great.
You didn't have too many notes last time. I just figured we have like a day left. I figured if there was any kind of just
I should make an announcement.
Small color tweaks or just whatever, I'll get them in there. I'm reworking this for some of these new elements are able to be animated. So if I do decide to do the camera pan, nothing is like the only JPEG is the lens smudges on the front. That's it. Yeah. Which would make sense. You would never animate that. So
yeah. No, it's great. I think I don't really have any notes. I mean, the only if we're going super minor stuff, I would be like make this smaller. There's like a pink edge on the bottom of her shirt here, and I just would want that's terrible, but I would just want that to go
I get it.
But that, I mean, that's it. I think it looks great. I think the values are right. I think I like the specularity in her skin. I like the way the glowiness of it. I just like it. I just like it.
Wait, it looks like you had the nuke bug again with the Bezier
no. So I had
Did you change it?
It's changed because in the animation she starts with more glowy stuff, and now so I'm revealing it by animating a Z-depth on her. So the more white she is, I forget exactly what it is in the Z-depth, but it's as it animates backwards.
Oh, that's fine.
This is kind of the new ending spot, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
All right, great.
Yeah, this is so cool.
All All right, we're gonna go. We'll move past Eugene's in case anyone's in a warm climate and wants a snowy escape for a split second. We'll just pause here for a second. We'll come back to it. Come back to you, Eugene, and then we'll go on to Kat's. So, Kat, we've got 2 projects here for you. Let's start with the black and white image. So you were talking about the splotchiness on the skin, and you were struggling to eliminate that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little-ish bit better. Like I said, it's the only place on his body that this happens, so I don't know what the deal is.
Have you
Yesterday I was messing with it, and I was like, ah.
Have you isolated it to, like, is it in the specular? Is it in the diffuse? Like, do you know? Because because it could be the geometry is janky in that area. It could be the shader is janky in that area. The UVs might be messed up, but like to me it doesn't feel like geo.
Isolated it. I was messing yesterday with the subsurface on it and specularity. I mean, if I got rid of subsurface completely, it looked a little bit better, but then it's gonna look plasticky. So I was moving with the subsurface, like trying different subsurface amounts, and it's that one spot.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the deal is. The only other thing I'm thinking of doing is just moving the light just a little bit and seeing if it hits that spot in a different way. If it doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Because really the only other time this light really hits him is the opening shot when he's standing. Because this is the sunlight that's coming through the window. If I have to move the light a little bit, like animate it a little bit to move it to make that go away, I can do that too. But I don't know. I mean, I can throw a spec light on it and see if that makes a difference or change the.
No, I think
I'm just
yeah.
annoyed.
Let's hold off on that for now. I do have one other question for you now that I'm looking at this. So, like I said, I like the shaping on the face. I think that this is coming in. Weird. I think that this is coming in nicely on this side. Is the same light that's hitting his face the one that's hitting his shirt?
I remember now. I have a couple different lights. Like I have a couple different desk lamps hitting his shirt.
Okay.
For different angles, and then I do. That is actually a separate.
Got it.
I think it is a separate spotlight. It's kind of angled, so there's some hitting a shirt that are just for the shirt, and then there's one for the like face shirt.
Let's try and, because I was just realizing this. So we've got a light coming in here from the side that's hitting his face this way. It's hitting his arm this way. And then it's much more central on his shirt, and it's actually dark around the edge here. So it's like coming up the arm, we've got bright here, and then it goes dark. And I think there's actually, and like there's a little bit of a misread there. So I'm wondering if, let's like maybe try breaking that light linking or positioning that, like the lights that are on his shirt more around to the side, then we can hit more of the shaping coming down him that way.
Are you talking the right arm?
I'm talking the difference between the lighting on his shirt versus his skin. Because like if you look, the light is hitting his skin here on the arm, right? Like on the side.
Right. Okay.
You would expect that to continue up through his shirt because you can see it, the same position of it is hitting the face from the side. But when you get to the shirt, it looks much more frontal, and the sides are actually darker. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't take the light that's hitting his chest here, and move it and make all of that coming in from his screen left side a little bit more, so that it kind of because that way that'll create more shaping in his chest as well.
Okay, so basically make it look like it's all coming from the desk lamp
Correct.
Instead of a bounce up, just angle it all up to the desk from the angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. But yeah, for the splotching in his face, yeah, it's just first we have to isolate where the problem is coming from before we can find the solution for it. So I would, isolate the light that's causing it, and then start messing with the shader properties and seeing, like turning things, like turn off the specularity and see if it goes away, turn off the bump and see if it goes away. If it's still there through all of it, maybe just put for a second, just put a standard Arnold shader on it and see if it's still there, because then it might just be geometry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can take the shader off and see if it is.
Yeah.
There's like with this animation, like all the shots, like if I turned the camera to the back of the characters, like there's like no clothes. Like the clothes only seem to fit the front. It's
Oh
really
yeah,
weird.
yeah. Everything.
Artemis is dressed like nothing in the back, and I'm like, okay, but if you move it, it's weird because any movement makes other skin break through. So
Yeah.
it's
Every
kinda odd.
yeah. Every like everything is always set up that way. I love pulling back when you get a file from an animator or from somebody, and you just like you're looking in the file, in the project file, and sometimes it'll be like a close up on the face, and they'll be like their face will be super intense, and then you pull back the camera in the software, and you look, and their body's all just like dangly and weird, and you kind of breaks in because it just doesn't matter, because it only matters what the camera can see.
As far as the splotchiness, are you rendering AOVs at all? Like, are you looking at them because you're working in Blender, right?
Blender can render AOVs. I just haven't looked at them, but
Yeah.
I can render them out.
Yeah,
and
that's
see.
great.
I mean, personally, like, yeah, it's like I would go through each AOV and just see where it's happening, and if it's something that you can just, like, the way I would fix it, I would just blur that AOV, isolate it with a Bezier to that area for, like you said, this is 4 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're 100% just lighting it, then that might be a bit tougher. But
Yeah, that's
This shot is basically like this pose lasts maybe the last half a second of the shot because he's moving the whole time. So he's coming down and this is his last pose. So this is the only time it happens on his face. It's just really weird. It's something about that angle of the light coming through.
And this is not denoiser issue again? Are you
No.
sure? Because it kind of looks like it could be.
I can do
Oh,
that.
that's actually a really good point. It does look like a denoiser thing.
Yeah, it does, but yeah, because like with SSS it might be really noisy, and because it's really noisy, it's like
That's super heavy.
creating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it would need to be more denoised or less denoised.
It needs to be cleaned up so that the denoiser doesn't have to work as hard.
Yeah, more samples.
Yeah.
Or like take the denoiser off and see if it looks even. The noise looks even across, or it doesn't look splotchy.
Okay.
I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah, I can. I can just turn it off.
Yeah, but that looks.
So.
Yeah. That's it. That's a good call, Diana. Thank you, and Aaron, both of you guys. Those are really good notes. Okay, so let's go to the other shot. So this is the first time that we're seeing this one, and we were talking before we went online. So this is a continuation of. It's the same. This is the same guy. It's the same shot. It's the same sequence, I should say.
Right, yeah. So this is the first shot of the sequence.
Okay.
This one is.
So this is the reverse angle. So we've got like all the basic elements will still need to be there. The table lamp will still need to be on. The light will still need to be coming in from the window, and all that good stuff. So like when he's here, he's gonna get a strong rim from this side. It would be the same window light hitting his arm, and then but like looking at her, like I think. So all this will be going. I like this pose looks great in terms of like the slashing and the light just hitting her eye. I like how the background's going darker. These shadows are pretty sharp. Those would need to be softened a little bit as we go back into space. It's. Man, she feels so big for that room. Like she feels like if she stands up, she's gonna hit her head against the ceiling. Well, looks like she looks okay. But in terms of it's when you do this, the one thing I would say is you should always start the other shot with the same light rig that you're using here. And see how that looks, because like that's the master lighting thing, because if it feels like this light feels believable as the same one that's happening here, but I'm just wondering like again about the lighting on him as being the same.
Yeah, it's not. I originally set up with the same two lighting rig pointing the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
But what was happening with her is her shadow on the back wall was super strong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so I was trying different ways to make that go away. So what I ended up doing was I have actually two lights. So I have the lights from the window that are basically specifically there to make the pattern on the back wall and light the back of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put a third light just for her face, and I created a little gobo that makes the slots.
Okay.
I don't have it angled the same way as that shot because then it was like hitting her. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to turn some lights off and on as this shot goes on because it's a cut scene. So she's sitting and then it cuts and then she's standing. So you don't actually see her stand. It's kind of a cut shot.
Okay.
So I'm thinking from when she's sitting to when she's standing, I may have to turn some lights off and on to make that angle work.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll have to see it play out because it sounds like a lot of it sounds like I'm not like it sounds like there's a lot going on and it'll feel like lights are being animated on and off. I am interested in, so we've got this light here and then we've got the light coming in back over here. So they're both of these are sunlight, both coming in from the windows. It's so much dimmer on the wall than it is on her. Here, and yeah, I'm wondering if those values need to be because unless they're like partially shadowed outside or something, I just like you usually want like the window light to feel the same in the entire room.
Well, I guess because if you look at the shot with him, like it doesn't. I guess I'm trying to balance it out because like the shot with him. It doesn't necessarily look like a strong sunlit day because there's not a lot of light on the wall behind him. So I didn't know how bright to make her angle in relation to his.
I feel like we wouldn't see those shadows in the back
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, that's
Not
actually
like
probably.
sunlight coming in from slightly below the window is what it looks like right now. Like that's how where it would have to be to reach the back wall like that.
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, that's actually more the issue with it is that like this light would fall somewhere on the ground over here, and it wouldn't actually reach all the way over there. That's a really good point. Yeah, so that would allow us to keep that back wall dark. So I don't even think you need that.
Okay.
It is so I'm trying to make sure
I have a weird balance
Yeah,
that I'm trying to figure out with her.
But like, yeah, I think if you just keep the background tonality similar to what we're seeing here, just keep that consistent, and that way you can keep the bulk of the lighting and the bulk of the intensity of the light on the characters. That keeps our focus in there, because this really feels like a theater setup, right? This feels like stage lighting, where there's like action right in the middle. We just focus the light right in there, get them to perform inside the area of action. And then everything else is just kind of dark around them.
And that, I mean, that's the film noir kind of vibe anyway. Is the lighting's very directed.
Yeah, because that was the setup, right? Like they did all these in studio, and so these are studio lit environments.
Okay.
So I think that and it is Go ahead, somebody.
No, just in the wall, there's the shadows that are like caused. Like the coat hanger is directly behind it, and then the chair is being cast over there, and then like
that.
There's two chairs.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
but still like her shadows on the right, like pointed toward the right, but then the coat hanger is like directly behind it.
Mm-hmm.
The shadow. I don't know. It's a little confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some lights that are scraping along the wall because I was trying to find a way to make the shadows a little less sharp.
Yeah.
Because when I was increasing the radius, it was blurring out the shadows on her face too much. So it was just like, there's too many things.
So
going
you
on.
that's the So I think the key would be to simplify it for now, and just do there just needs to be 3 lights in there for right now, just to get the bulk of the look, just to see how it goes. There's the window light coming in from the side. There is the desk lamp here. And actually probably just those 2, right? Because then there would be this light coming in from the back window, that would be hitting the ground. And we can, yeah, I think that's all we need right now. And just see what those do. Without adding any character specific lights, no light linking, none of that. Just the light coming in from the window in the same position that it's hitting him, and then the desk lamp, and just see where that lands. Because I think it actually, because it looks like she gets up and down from the desk and the chair, and like she's bouncing around a little bit, and it like that'll allow her to come in and out of the desk lamp brightness. That'll create a little bit more of a dynamic scene for them. Because it feels like both of them are chill when they're further back, and then the intensity raises as they get closer to the table. And so by having that lamp there, amplifying that, we can really play off of that. That's good. All right, cool. I think that is everybody who is on live today. So we'll go through a few of the other ones. We'll start with Eugene. So first reaction to this, I thought it was lovely and beautiful. And I was like, this is great. And my first reaction was, Eugene, I want this as a lighting challenge for, because I'd love to see this in a whole bunch of different ways. So because you built it from scratch, if that's something you would be willing, talk to me. We can buy it from you and use it as a lighting challenge. I think the setup is great. I love the aspect ratio of it. Was like one of the first things that I reacted to. The overall feel of it's really nice. The color of the snow is pretty dead on, and it looks natural and beautiful here. And I can tell you guys, it's not easy. Like getting this warmth versus the cool of the shadow without any of it really kind of going gray is really, really, really hard and really, really strong. The only things that I would do, I would add, because we have some pretty heavy DOF blur here in the foreground, is I would just put a little bit more in the background, just like a touch, a handful of pixels, maybe 5 pixels, just to get a little blur on that far mountain. And then number 2 is I think that you could go a little bit more with the diffusion goodness. Like I think it could just be a little bit more.
Here.
Yeah, a little bit more on top here. Just to kind of. I think it could be. I think it just like can have that little bit more brightness, happiness. Pretty much entirely, because again, it's like with that much snow, there's a little moisture in the air. The snow, blows out a little bit in some spots and would bloom a little bit. And I think that would help. But it's great. It's great overall. It looks lovely. What's that?
I want to go there.
Yeah, you can tell when you made something good when people talk like when they look at it and they're like I think Diane, I think you said it, like I want to save this for the summertime when I'm really hot. Like when people talk about the way it makes them feel, that's when you know you're doing something right? That's when good things are happening. Oh, Eugene, you are here.
Yeah.
All the things I just said, it looks great, and I want to light this myself and other people to do it too. It's so cool. Can you talk about it? Because you made this from scratch, right? If you're available to talk. Sometimes people are not. Okay, that's okay. I think it's great. Like I said, I can offline this with you, but just in case you chimed in, I said the only things that I would change, I would update on it would be a little bit of blur in the far background, and just adding this little bit of diffusion to it. All right, man, we lost him. I've got a bad habit of that. It's crazy how that happens.
Be nicer.
I think I should have just not given any notes. Next time I will just be like, it's great, and I'll just shut my mouth. That wrecks me the rest of the day. What's that? Yeah.
I said you even offered to buy it.
I offered to pay for it, and he left. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So Rubi, welcome. This is the first submission. So I actually watched Pan's Labyrinth during the pandemic for the first time. For some reason, it just fell off my radar, and it's a great film. It's beautiful. I love the structure of this, like the symmetry of it, the dark over light, the playing of safe space outside to dangerous space inside is really cool here. This is a really great study in the amount of like light that we're getting on her face is all we really need to read her emotion. Like her body posture is all there. And just reading a little bit of the rim light on her, and just like these little splotches of pockets of light on her are enough to totally get the whole mood. Yeah, I think it's great. This is a really cool submission. Thank you so much for posting this, because it just makes me think of this movie as a whole, and it's really, really beautifully done. And then last up we have Vanessa. So we have an update to her, it's a little bigger, to her scene with the reference in the little girl. Outside the window looks good. It's a little bit. It almost feels a little bit low resolution out there. I would just make sure that, because it feels a little bit blocky. It might be the blur, but I think it's okay. In terms of the room as a whole, in fact, let's just do this. Sometimes I like to A/B stuff. Other times I like to just see them together. So I'm just gonna kind of keep this, put it down here in this corner. And like sitting back and just like looking between the two of them. I think there's lower contrast in the reference image. I do think that we can get a little bit more fill light into some of these areas back here, kind of lift it up overall. Looking out in front of her, I think that brightness feels pretty good. It's brighter than what we're seeing here in the reference, but I think that actually works pretty well. It's more about like really upping the secondary bounce light inside the space and really allowing that to fill in a little bit.
There's a little bit of light leaking on the top left of the window pane too.
Oh, like up here?
Something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's creeping through a little bit. Maybe just plug that up. That's true. I also, and this could be a thing too, one of the things about the reference too is like down here, this bottom half, or like frosted glass. I don't know, like it's kind of cool. Like it just kind of abstracts the background. I'm wondering, and you guys can disagree with me, I'm wondering if like maybe making these two planes like frosted glass, to kind of make it more just about color and haze as opposed to, and that way we're not picking up any of the detail out there.
I agree, and I think it would diffuse the sunlight as it's coming through as well. Like on the rug, it feels a lot stronger than it would in the reference.
Yeah. I agree, and because that would diffuse that down there and make that go away. Yeah, I think that. But other than that, I think it's looking pretty good. It feels a little bit like the value. I think the center area could go a little bit like, a little bit warmer, and the area around it could go a little cooler. Like there could be a little bit more value shift between what we're seeing in the center versus something more like that. And then the outside should look like just a touch cooler. Maybe something more like that. Just kind of like center us in a little bit more with some color distinction between those two areas. But other than that, it's well on its way. It's a very, very cool project. I think you know what, this might be a shader thing. I think her hair is actually getting a little bit dark overall. I would lift the shader value of her hair, because like back here it feels dark, and even on the Keith side it feels a little bit dark too. So just because like hair has a little bit more subsurface to it, like light penetrates it a little more strongly, and I just think that with what's on there right now, it's just getting a little bit too dense. All right, I think that's everything for today.
Actually, Mike, I just submitted an image.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's a bit late though.
Dang you, Tristan. It's 45 minutes late. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's take a look at the reference. What is this reference from?
It's from The Fountain.
Oh, right. Cool.
Is that you?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's see.
I like the X-rays.
Yeah, those are cute. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is. I mean, is this? Have you had an opportunity to put this through comp yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so the biggest thing
It's already-
is more glow from this this back thing, because it feels like a little bit like it's just bright, and I don't feel it like it's like a big light box, which kind of just like glows a little bit more. And I'm seeing that like on these edges here. There's a little bit low res, but there's just more like bleed on the edges between the edge, where this is just like white black or white dark.
Okay.
In terms of the character lighting itself, the position feels good. I would almost... again, because of like this isn't like we're playing it off of this still, but I'm guessing this is a sequence of shots where there's a little bit more, like there's opportunity for more light to hit his face. So in this example, I almost want to pull the light around just a little more to see a little bit more of his eye. And then I would tone down the subsurface on his ear. I think it's cool that it's there, and I think it should be more strong than what we got here on Hugh. But I think that this is a little bit too heavy-handed. And then looking in the hair here around the edge, it feels like there's some sort of crunchiness going on there, and I'm not quite sure what that is.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's caused by the cryptomat. So I really just wanted to modify the hair, use a cryptomat, and I think it has something to do with the alpha.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how to get rid of that crunchiness, or I don't know what it is. So I'm looking into it right now,
Cool.
trying to have something smoother.
Okay. But yeah, I think that's and then in terms of the X-rays themselves, they are super cute. I think they could go brighter too, because I feel like they could feel more like there's light penetrating through them.
Okay.
Like this value in here, a little bit brighter.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would start there and then go from there.
Okay.
So good stuff. All right, cool. Well, let's break for the day. Anybody got anything else before we do that? You guys are great. Okay. Everybody have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will talk to reminder, I'm no live critique tomorrow. We'll be back again on Thursday. Tomorrow I'll just do some written critiques for everybody. But until then. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Bye. Happy lighting.
Bye.